Okay, shalom, shalom. Kwam Yasha Allah. Kohloyimla, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim, Rachahakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and that by the Spirit taught us His beautiful truth. And just want to say the water to all the H.I.M and Akwa that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, to the best of their ability. This is Achan on the Waf, just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And this is an article in Law and Crime. I have been seeing this. I seen it the other day, a couple of days ago. But it says, dad impregnated daughter, drove her to Mexico to get abortion before she delivered stillborn in Walmart bathroom. So, hey, that was the Lord, judging this wicked nigga. First off, now he's sitting there with his damn big ass head all down. But it says Texas officials say a dad raped his 17-year-old daughter, who then became pregnant with his child and delivered a stillborn in Walmart bathroom after he took her to Mexico to have an abortion. Jerry Lee Martinez, 45, now faces the essay, or the assault of a child charge. Jail records show he was previously charged with abandoning or endangering a child with criminal negligence, along with tampering with a witness and tampering with physical evidence. Local ABC affiliate Kill, no, that's not Kill, but I guess it's K3, K1, whatever, obtained an arrest affidavit that said Martinez's daughter told detectives that her father began touching her inappropriately when she was 15 years old. The affidavit reportedly alleges that Martinez assaulted the minor several times over the last 2 years, and she became pregnant with his child. When he learned the girl was pregnant, Martinez repeatedly punched her in the stomach. He drove the girl to Mexico last Monday to have an abortion. She allegedly delivered a stillborn in the Walmart bathroom in Kingsville that night and then threw the child in the trash. I'm not sure how nobody heard her giving birth to this baby, but it says Walmart employees found the baby and called police, who later spotted Martinez and the teen and stopped their vehicle. Martinez was arrested while the girl was taken to a secure location. Okay, so the Walmart employees called the police around 10:30 p.m. on Monday after they found a newborn in the trash. Employees were conducting life-saving efforts on the baby, who was then transported to local hospital, police said. Doctors pronounced the infant dead. Cops looked at surveillance video, which showed the 17-year-old girl walking into the bathroom. After about 40 minutes inside, she allegedly came out and went to her car in the parking lot. Some 30 minutes passed before the employees found the baby. I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, like, I don't even know how that's possible. Like, generally, a woman giving birth, they would, have some screams or squeals or some, and then nobody walking in there within 40 minutes. That's kind of crazy. The Walmarts be kind of busy. Around 11 p.m., officers spotted the teen's vehicle and stopped her and Martinez. We extend our deepest condolences to all affected. Okay, all that good stuff. Says Martinez and his family live. Okay, so I don't know. They're not mentioning a wife or a mother. Martinez remains, okay, he got a $600,000 bond. And that's pretty much it, man. As far as what they're giving, the info that they're giving. Crazy, bro. Yep. And there you have it. But let's get some scripture real quick. And this is the law. Leviticus 18:6. It says, none of you shall approach to any that is near kin to him, to uncover their nakedness. I am the Lord. So it goes off into all the mother-in-law, father-in-law, sons, the whole thing, man. Aunties shouldn't be sleeping with their damn nephews. Nephews shouldn't be sleeping with the whole shebang. They give you the whole rundown on all the sexual immorality, right? So as you go down to verses, it goes all the way down to like Yep, verse 20. So it's it's giving you the whole rundown. Even not sleeping with your woman when she's on her menstrual cycle, which that happens here in America too. That's all this stuff it's an ongoing thing, especially in Esau Edom's kingdom, and generally this will be some Edomite type shit. It's always been a common so-called joke or common so-called saying of Esau, dealing with his daughters. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much overall. But matter of fact, it was I've done a video a couple of weeks back with a lady basically being arrested for sleeping with her son. The one of the brothers had came, I guess the father or whatever came home from work, and he wanted her gone. You know what I'm saying? And they ended up calling the police. So I'm not sure exactly, because America, they have some laws, but their laws are not what they're, they claim to be a Christian country, but they, the shit that they have with their laws, it don't line up with the scriptures at all, because these people are supposed to be put to death, man. Right? Let me see here, because when you go into let's go into chapter 20, it gives you a little bit more of the pretty much overall the punishment. So see, like right here with adultery, like adultery in America is permissible. I mean, you can do that here, and nothing happens to the man or woman, other than a jealous husband or a jealous whatever put somebody to death, so to speak. But in the scriptures, a woman committing adultery, and that man that commits adultery with her, they're supposed to be put to death. Right here in verse 10, right? Let me see what else they got. Yep, here you have with the homosexuality. They're to be put to death, man. Matter of fact, here's a law right here that says if a man take a wife and her mother, it is wickedness. They shall be burnt with fire, both he and they, that there be no wickedness among you. So and then because it's a Jake, I just seen a video of that. I know a brother done a video on it. It was a Jake that got what appears to be Edomites, an Edomite chick and her mama pregnant. You know what I'm saying? And they are happy, joy, one big happy family. Well, that's wickedness, man. It's supposed to be burnt. Yep, any man lie with beasts. America got bestiality. In certain states, that shit is legal, and even where it's illegal, they only giving the person a slap on the wrist, because you've been seeing a lot of Edomites, mainly women, the so-called white women. You know what I'm saying? She been freaking off with the family dog, but that the animal's supposed to be put to death, and that the person that has sex with the animal is supposed to be put to death. And Esau, he has animal porn, bestiality porn and stuff. This man is wicked as hell. Let me see what else we got. That it's some things, man. That, you could be put, could have been put to death for in the ancient days, but still, the Lord, he still judges, man. This was being done by the actual community, though. The people would have to, come together and round these clowns up and give them that judgment. You know what I'm saying? But see, these days with Esau's system or his kingdom, you can't do anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Your ass to go to jail. You trying to put somebody to death that's that's committing these crimes. Let me see what else we got in here. But I mean, like I said, verse chapters 18 and chapter 20, it gives you a real rundown on the sexual immorality, type of deal. Things that you're just not to do. Let's see, this one right here says, verse 20, Leviticus 20 and 20, if a man has sex with his uncle's wife, he has violated his uncle both the man and woman will be punished for their sin, and they will die childless. Mm. Yep, and it says, ye shall verse 22, ye shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments and do them, that the land whither I bring you to dwell therein spew you not out, and ye shall not walk in the manner of the nations, which I cast out before you. For they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them. See? So this is what the other, pretty much those were Hamite nations. And that's the reason why the Lord told us not to deal with them too. So you have, I think it was yesterday or the day before, brothers was, going off into lessons. Because you got some of these Christians or some of these people that say that, Israelites can only be with Israelites. You know what I'm saying? Like the man, like you can't deal with another a woman of another nation, and that's just not true. The Lord gave us rules and regulations on these particular nations, because there's plenty of scriptures that talks about, like for example, you got Moses. His wife wasn't an Israelite. You got Ruth, which was I think she was an Ammonite, which would be King David's grandmother. So the lineage, our lineage has women of the other nations in it, but the seed line goes through the father, right? But the Lord, he definitely gave us strict rules on not to deal with these particular nations right here, or these particular Hamites. I think it was like 5 or so different sets of them, so to speak, but overall, the Lord gave us the law, statutes, and commandments to not commit these particular things, these particular crimes, man, Now, when you go off into Lot's daughters had sex with him. Remember, they got him drunk, if you're familiar with that story. After, the Lord demolished Sodom and Gomorrah, Lot and his 2 daughters, were the 2 daughters. They pretty much thought that they were the only ones alive on the planet, so to speak. And they wanted to pretty much overall, try and keep that lineage going. So the oldest daughter basically told the youngest daughter, I'm gonna get pretty much we're gonna get dad drunk, and we're gonna both have sex with him. So the first night, the oldest daughter went in, got him, they got drunk, and she had a son, and then the second daughter, the youngest daughter, she had a son as well. So it's kind of, it's really confusion, because Lot, he was the father and also the grandfather at the same time of these 2 boys. You see? And then, when you think about it, the women, these were their brothers and their sons. You see? So that's all confusion, man. And then you see, today, the Moabites, we believe by faith, are the modern day Chinese people today. And that the Ammonites are the modern day Japanese, and you can kind of see how they are. Like, look at how they're they're kind of frail. Their eyelids and shit is all fucked up. They got they just pretty much got that's real close incest. Now, me speaking as a man, the scripture don't go into it, but if the women were thinking that there was no other people on the planet, just me speaking as a man, again, the scriptures doesn't say it, but did they have sex with their sons? You know what I'm saying? Like, did one son have sex with his auntie and the other son have sex with his auntie, and these, and they got pregnant by these 2 boys once they got grown enough? And then as time went on, you know what I'm saying? Are they sleeping with, I don't know, sisters, and you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's kind of crazy, man. But again, the scripture don't go that far off into it. It names, they became nations. It doesn't say exactly how they became nations. It don't say that the 2 boys left and went into another region and was, finally found some other people, found out that they wasn't the only people on the planet. But anyway, the whole thing of it is, it's confusion, man, and wickedness, But I just wanted to just touch on this. And this, this guy, I'm believing he's Northern Kingdom. He's more than likely Northern Kingdom, and the Israelite from one of the tribes of the Northern Kingdom, man. that's done dealt with his daughter like this. He done punched her all in the damn stomach. Like, what did you think was gonna happen if you banging her? You know, you banging her raw. You banging your own daughter raw. Well, this is you'd be surprised at how often shit like this be happening, man. This is this has been going on since the beginning of time, man. Shit like this is so. It's just it's a nasty piece of business, but this is why we need the kingdom, though. You know, we need out of here, man. We definitely need to get out of Esau Edom's kingdom, man, and to have those law, statutes, and commandments written on our minds and our hearts. You know what I'm saying? That's that new covenant. Because how could we be in the new covenant and people doing, our people doing shit like this? So, it is what it is, man. So I'm going to end out there, Pray that the lesson was edifying. And with that, Kwame Allah and a Baba Ball.